Listen when Tierra speaks. Listen when Tierra speaks. Nothing happens by chance, so I take my own stance, avoid all drama and create my own karma. Dare to be different, live to inspire. Listen when Tierra speaks. Be who you are, ascend and go higher. Listen when Tierra speaks. Live intentionally in your purpose. Listen when Tierra speaks. Hard work, I know, but I promise it's worth it. Listen when Tierra speaks.
Hey y'all, hey, welcome back to Tierra Speaks, your foundation of growth and the place where we always dare, live, and be. That is, dare to be different, live to inspire, and be who you are. I am your host and purpose coach, Tierra Armand, and on today's show, I'm going to actually remove myself a little bit. You know, it's the beginning of the year, and we've been doing vision boards and everything, and had a dope women's empowerment event, but guess what? We got something special for the men. Today we have Cognac and Conversations, and I have three dope, I can't even call them co-hosts, y'all, because I ain't even gonna be here. Three dope hosts, because your girl is removing herself. I know, it's my show, but guess what? The men need a safe space just like we do as women, so I'm going to remove myself. We got three dope hosts, two new vendors, shout out to TVT and Origin of Greatness, and they gonna do a little road mapping for the men. Now, I don't know what that is, but it's not for me. But y'all gonna find out in just a little bit. So, our special host for today, we have Christopher Evans, we have Renelle Parker, and we also have Atoya White. Now, you'll learn a little bit about them and who they are in just a few minutes. But before we do that, do me a favor and like, follow, share, and subscribe to Tierra Speaks on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, iHeart, YouTube. Download TGFX on Roku, and y'all know y'all need to know everything we got going on, right? Because it's a brand new year. It's 2023. We are growing, and we have been listening to everything that you asked, and we're gonna make sure that we take care of that. Now, we haven't forgot, we still doing the dating episodes. Yes, we are gonna send total package on a date, but we are also gonna be doing speed dating, so look out for all of that. Now, go get your drinks, your snacks, your notebooks, your pens, and get ready, because guaranteed they're about to drop some gems that you do not want to miss right after this.
I just like the sound of it.
Welcome back to Tierra Speaks. I am the homie Chris. We are here for Cognac and Conversations. What's going on, gentlemen?
What's up, brother? What's up?
So, I will be kicking this off before we get to Brother Atoya and Brother Renelle. I'll say we got a couple bonds of agreement, and I say bonds of agreement because we all men, we don't have room. We just agree with each other, and we're gonna bond on that. Three things: honesty, love, and respect. We can be honest and here with each other. This is a safe space. That love is gonna come from, there may be differences of opinion, but that never means you lose respect for all these gentlemen in here. Can we make that our bonds of agreement?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, there we go. So, with this, we're gonna talk a little bit about what road mapping is. Road mapping is the procedural method of planning a course of action of turning your vision into a reality. And what I mean by turning that vision into reality is very simple. In your mind, when you see something that's still there, it becomes reality when you start working toward what you can obtain. So right now I'm going to discuss 5 different ways of turning that vision into reality. It's amazing when I spoke to Brother Toya and Renell before we went here, they both said the same thing. You know, God brought what they were supposed to say, and I'm like, stay out my damn head, y'all. I thought this same thing. So, coming into this, my first point of turning that vision into reality is having a strong commitment to the reason of your vision. Everybody has a reason for what they want to do. Some people may want to own a business just to be rich. Some may want to own a business to service the community. Some may really love what they do. But have a strong commitment to your vision. Because without that commitment to your vision, it's just an idea. We all lose ideas in the shower sometimes, right or wrong. Okay. Second, connect with individuals who will both celebrate and challenge you. That's the real objective of brotherhood. With my brothers, I'm not gonna lie, we go at it, but I know it's out of love. Because my brother will be the one to tell you, man, I know you think that outfit is fresh, but I don't know about that, brother. That ain't really it right there. And he's saying that from a place of love. And that's a small example. But in bigger examples, we all have business decisions we make where we have business partners. Just by Iceland show of fists, we ain't gonna say hands because we all bonded. How many of us have had to make tough business decisions where we had to tell people what they really didn't want to hear? That's part of people challenging you. How many of those same people we had to tell that did you all establish a relationship with where you all celebrated each other after something went well? That's that celebration right there. Third point I have, make evolution a necessity. I stand here before y'all and I don't mind saying that. Out of a lot of my friends, I don't get to associate with them as much anymore because we on different paths of life. Just shooting it straight with y'all. If I know my partner out here making moves and doing what he gotta do, I can't be around it because that ain't how I live at this point in my life. The value that I have on my life, he may have a different value. That don't mean we're not brothers. It just means we can't meet under the same circumstances all the time. It's okay to evolve and be who you want to be. Not everybody's gonna see your vision. Not everybody's gonna understand your evolution. But once you get there, you'll recognize that you gotta give yourself credit too on evolving. My fourth point with that is always give yourself maximum effort. To me, this is my favorite point because who in here works a job and runs a business? If you give your job 40 hours, you gotta give yourself 40 hours. That's 80 hours in a week. Realistically, that's about half your week right there. But if you can give somebody else 40 hours, you gotta give yourself that same effort. Because that goal is to be your own boss, to where you don't have to punch in that clock. You're putting that effort into yourself. So you gotta give yourself that maximum effort. If you don't give yourself that maximum effort, but you're still working for others, that's where we have that tirelessness come in, where we get frustrated where our vision ain't going where it should be. I get all that. But make sure you give yourself maximum effort so you can give yourself the best opportunity. And the fifth and final point I have is motivation starts with self-preservation. Truth be told, we all get down where we might have to have a drink to relieve stress. Some of us believe in herbal essences. Grease monkey is probably a good one, so I heard. But that one too, so I heard. But at the same time, that's not always what's best for us. We gotta make sure our health is intact too. We gotta make sure we getting adequate rest. We gotta make sure that we taking care of ourselves by having a better diet, doing our checkups. Like colonoscomies are needed at this point in life. For all my men who are of that age, you should get checked. Looking in the screen, get checked out. That serious. Colon cancer is taking us out at an alarming rate. But with that self-preservation, you're not gonna be able to do any of this if you don't take care of yourself. That adequate rest is important. Who in here are my fathers? All my fathers in here, how many of us have sleepless nights because We worry about what we can do as a better father or an husband, significant other, whatever. If we never rest, how can we lead our pack? So you got to make sure that that self-preservation is being taken care of as well. I'll give y'all a little short story of myself. Truth be told, my vision when I was younger, I used to get laughed at all the time. I said, I just want to be alive. You know, I don't share this much, but I seen somebody killed in front of me when I was 6 years old. And it did something to me mentally because their life is taken from you and you can't get it back. I didn't really even understand what was going on. So I said my vision was just being alive. With that, it's such a broad scope. It was simple for me. All I got to do is live, give my best effort, put my best foot forward, and keep going. Yeah, I made some mistakes, bumps in the road, bruises. I had a bunch of money, been broke, had a bunch of money, been broke again. I said this time, that third time though, I can't never go back to being broke, so I gotta change some things, because boy, no money makes you do some things that you would never do in your life because it puts you in a situation of desperation. And us as men, being leaders, it's difficult for us sometimes to accept that we can't do something or we're limited. How many times, just by show of fist, have you felt limited and you felt like you didn't have any other option and it put you in a situation of stress? All I'm here to tell y'all is real simple. That mental health is important. That self-preservation is important.
Hey y'all, now listen, did y'all catch all of them gems that was just dropped? Because if not, you know, you can run it back so you can jot down all your notes, pause it if you need to, so you can make sure you catch every single thing that was just dropped. Because these men are in here doing it, having a dope time with other men, brotherhood going on. Listen, all the feels, so make sure that you run it back and catch it. And hey, do me a favor, just meet somebody new, right? To all my fellas out there, find another brother that you see out you in the store, you at an event, and meet them and just start conversating with them. You never know, you might need each other. But I'm gonna let y'all take a quick break, refresh them drinks, get your cognac, get your snacks, and come back right after this.
All right, welcome back to Tierra Speaks. My name is Etoya White. I'm a licensed professional counselor here in the state of Missouri. I own a private practice as a clinical therapist. It's in the Olivet area in St. Louis. In that capacity, I provide individual, marital, couples, family dynamic, and group counseling. I'm also an education and mental wellness consultant. That's what I do professionally. I'm also a member of the board of directors for CHAD's Coalition for Mental Health. I'm also a member of the board of directors for St. Louis Voices Academy. I do a bunch of shit around town. My passion is to promote mental and emotional wellness for men and boys in and from Black and brown spaces. However, my practice is open to all who will come. So that's me, and we're about to get this work today. Fellas, perfect segue. As I was thinking about what I was going to talk about today, and I kind of vacillated between certain things. I'm a type of cat. I just sit and I just let God speak to me, and whatever comes, that's what I do. So I was at the crib, and I was like, all right, what direction am I going to go in? And I just sit and I meditate quietly, and I was reminded of two things that brought me to what I'm going to share today, man. So the first thing, and actually the brothers who have shared, everybody's made a deposit to what I'm going to share about today. So the first thing that was brought to my remembrance, my wife and I were having a conversation about just health and fitness. I had my annual recently, and I was a college basketball recruit. Our son's coming up next. We got these kids doing all type of shit, and my wife was just like, yo, I need you to be here. And I was like, dang, that's real. That's subtle, but that's real. So I was like, okay, bet, because oftentimes, especially us, we take things for granted simply because of the way we learn how to do things, right? We learn faulty concepts of maleness, manhood, and masculinity. We learn from modeling or whatever have you. So if we had, uncle, mama, daddy, uncle Bobo, cousin Ray, whoever died, prostate cancer, colon cancer, whatever have you, high blood pressure, hypertension, all these different things that we deal with as a community of Black men, oftentimes, unless we learn some new information, that's kind of the path that we end up following. So when she said it, I was like, damn, because I come from having been a Division I college football player. I've always been in shape. Before I blew my titty out about 12 years ago, I was battling, 455-pound beer. I was throwing shit around. I can't do that shit no more. But now it's like, it's a shift. Like, how can I take care of myself in a way that allows me to be here? That's just it. That's when she said, I just need you to be here, whatever that means. So I'm like, damn, I'm 47 now. How can I get 47 more? Because she said she need me to be here. The second thing that I'm gonna share with you comes from a conversation I was having here recently, a sister and her son. And the sister told her son, she said, don't no woman want no emotional man. I said, God damn. How many of y'all heard something like that? Don't no woman want no emotional man. How many heard something like that shit? So I had to school sis, and that's okay, right? Because part of my job is not just to be a clinician. My job is to be an educator. And I'm a straight shooter, and I tell anybody who's a client, prospective client, whatever, my delivery style is very different. I don't fuck around. When you come in, I don't fuck around, right? So I had to explain that that's not true. I said women want emotional men. But here's what women want to be emotional about men. Women want men who are emotionally available. That's the first thing. Emotionally available, emotionally intelligent, and emotionally responsive. Three things. I'm going to say that again. They need us to be emotionally intelligent, emotionally responsive, and emotionally available. Right? Because if we're not those things, then we stand a higher chance of being emotionally absent, emotionally abusive, right? Emotionally all these other different things. See what I'm saying? So that's the focus. So we're going to talk about how do we get there? How do we get there? If we come from this space where we learn from faulty concepts of maleness, manhood, and masculinity, and we didn't get an opportunity to develop moral and emotional reasoning from the examples that we had, because those men who were supposed to teach and model those things for us, for whatever reason, they were absent. They were incarcerated. Or they just didn't fucking have the skill. They didn't know how to do it. They didn't have the skill, so we had to get it from somewhere, right? So this conversation today is going to be centered on two things, man. I do a lot of work, as I stated, I'm a consultant, and I do a lot of work. I work with a lot of school districts. I work with, Kirkwood, Confluence, KIPP, Hazelwood, just all Amazon, MasterCard. I've been around the block once or twice, and I teach a lot on emotional regulation. We're going to talk about briefly in this time that we have, emotional regulation and personal self-care, why those things are important. Mostly personal self-care because there are 5 things, when I teach my clients, there's 5 things that are personal property. These are things that you own, right? Get this in your spirit today, right? Your thoughts, your emotions, your words, your actions, and your value and belief system. I'm gonna repeat that, right? Your thoughts, your words, your actions, your emotions, your value and belief system. And I always put an asterisk by value and belief system because up until a certain point when you get to an age of accountability, right, the value and belief system that you operate off of is which one? It's the one your mom and your daddy gave you, the one, the environment that you grew up, the neighborhood that you grew up in. That's the value and belief system that you have to use because you don't know anything else. You model, but you get to a point where you experience some conflict. Something's gonna happen in that value and belief system that Uncle, Mom, and Dad, the one that shit don't work. So you need to get some new information. And that's what brings us into this space. So we're gonna talk about how personal self-care, emotional regulation, because how does a man get to the point where he can be those things? If I don't learn the importance of moral and emotional reasoning and how emotion operates in my life, then how do I become emotionally intelligent? How do I become emotionally responsive? How do I become emotionally available? How can I be those things if I don't see them? If I don't learn them from somewhere? So let's talk about that because number one, you think a thought and your emotion tells you what to do with the thought. First thing, think a thought and your emotion tells you what to do with the thought. So as men, we gotta understand. So if emotionally we're imbalanced, we stand a greater chance of operating off of perception versus being able to realize intent. We miss it. We operate off of irrational emotions. We can't get it. So we got to get some more information. The question I'm going to ask you, and whatever, all the parents, all the brothers who are married in a relationship, it doesn't matter where you are, what you got to leave here with today is figuring out, you know what? In all of my dealings and all of these roles, do I find myself doing more reacting or responding? Because it's not the same. You going to be a reactor or a responder? Does that make sense? The difference is reaction. Okay, cool. It's okay to have reactions because those are emotion-based things. Because it's okay for me to be pissed off about something. It doesn't have to be connected to childhood trauma. It doesn't have to be connected to previous relationship experience. It could be simply because, goddamn it, I don't like it. And I had a reaction to it. But my ability to regulate my emotions is going to dictate how I respond. You feel me? Because I could be disappointed that one of my kids did something that wasn't the best decision. They made a decision that wasn't the best decision. I could be disappointed. But how am I going to respond? And that's going to be predicated on my ability to regulate my emotions. Right? How do we do that? Right? There's 5 steps that I teach, and this is a very condensed. I'm going to actually give y'all, and I've got to figure out a way we'll come. I don't know how the fuck we're going to do it. We'll figure out some way for me to teach how I can give y'all my emotional regulation curriculum or whatever have you. We'll figure out how to do it. But there's 5 things, man, in terms of emotionally regulated. This is thousands of dollars. I mean, school, they break bread when I teach this shit. And I'm going to give it to y'all.
3, 2.
Hey, so listen, these men is out here doing it, y'all. They are, whew, this is just epic. It's an epic conversation. It's an epic event, and I hope that you guys are really, really enjoying it. Make sure that y'all send me a message, email us, let us know how you've enjoyed the show, how maybe we should tweak the show, do something a little different, and what you've learned from the show is really most important, all right? And of course, get some more snacks and drinks if you need to, and check us out right after this.
What's going on, world? It's Mr. Bernard Quinn III, CEO of the Victory Torch Premium Handmade Cigars, right here in St. Louis, founded in 2020. We are one of the most elite cigar services in St. Louis. We are a mobile humidor. We provide your needs, private parties, events, whatever you could think of, we got you. Premium handmade cigars right here in St. Louis. All of our products are sourced from the Dominican Republic, so you're getting top quality and you're getting some of the best cigars all from around the world right here at home. So again, the Victory Torch, you can hit us up at TVT_cigars. Once again, that's at TVT_cigars. Hit us up anytime, and we are at your service. We got you.
Hey, yo, I'm Renell Parker. Welcome back to Tierra Speaks. All right, so, brothers, we've had the journey of conversation. With sort of what Atoya was talking about, sort of segue to what we were just talking about as far as dealing with relationships, dealing with things at our home, is all surrounded about leadership, right? So again, leadership is sort of my specialty, sort of what I focus on, but more importantly, how we lead ourselves so we are better prepared to lead others, right? So one of the things I believe for us to do that, we have to also define what leadership means to us, right? So again, we don't have to fill this out as we go. You can take it with you, but trying to use this as sort of a roadmap to facilitate that discussion on what leadership is, right? So also I have several quotes that I put on there. So the first one says, the path to leadership begins with defining the leader within ourselves, right? So one of the things we learned in the military, Brother Will, I'm sure you can attest to this, is they put a lot of people in position that can manage activities, manage projects, that can't lead people, right? And that's a fundamental issue, not just in the military, but once you get in private sector, corporate America, but also you got folks that come together in homes and it's the blind leading the blind, right? Because again, we talk about ownership, expectations, accountability, right? And all those things that are lacking, missing, or just completely absent are why we don't do those things, right? But so one of the things we focus on is really a mindset shift of how we see, perceive, and think things. And it starts with something very simple. For example, we've heard kill two birds with one stone, right? To complete two tasks simultaneously. But instead of killing two birds with one stone, you saw how my face sort of crunched up when I said it. It's a negative connotation, negative energy to that. So why not feed two birds with one piece of bread? Or I had one of my athletes tell me feed two birds with one stone, right? Instead of killing two birds with one stone. So now we start to speak life, prosperity, and progression into how we move, how we think, and what we do, and how we feel. Another thing that we often do, we may say, don't forget to take out the trash, right? Don't take the blue train. I was in Japan and trying to go to another base to go play ball. My buddy that was stationed there kept telling me, all right, look, you're going to take this train here, get off of this stop, don't take the blue train. Then you go two more stops, get off this stop, but remember, Renell, don't take the blue train. Lobby, goddamn, I didn't hop right on the blue train because that was the most recent, that's what wrong in my head. He kept repeating what not to do. So right away, I tied into what not to do. Now, if he just said, remember, Renell, take the red train, then the green train, then the blue train, I remembered what to do instead of focusing what not to do because it was so repetitive. Right, so that's some of the things that we want to do just as we better evolve as men and doing what we need to do to better lead. Whether it's, like I said, leading our house, leading our teams. One of the things that we started doing is a program called Mental Prep. Right now we're piloting the program with B55 Volleyball Club. I've got 3 teams that we're working with. And PREP stands for preparation, responsiveness, endurance, and performance. Right? If we're not mentally and emotionally prepared, then we're not going to be able to respond to shit. Right? And so again, where we got Atoya, so to get therapy, to get coaching, counseling, whatever it is, so that we are now in a better headspace, so that we can respond to the bullshit that might be brought up from 10, 15 years ago. Right? Because there may be something in us that's affecting our patience. You know what I mean? So now again, how do we be better prepared to succeed in certain dynamics? So even going from one day to the next, right? If we know we've got to be somewhere at 6 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock may not be our normal start time, we need to do some preparation the night before. Right, so now what goals are we also setting in order to make these things a reality? So the same goals we may set for work, same goals we need to set for our families. Right, for example, hey, Atoya said we don't do C's. right? I said the same thing to my kids as well. But I also had to adapt to my preparation and be a little bit more flexible, right? So now, as a leader where I'm pushing, and I'm pushing, sometimes I gotta shut the fuck up and listen. And so my daughter, we're dealing with some situations now. She's put a lot of stress on her taking this honors pre-calculus class. But the stress of it, she's like, I'm not gonna need this shit. Nothing. She plans on going to psychology, right? She don't give a shit about the length of the shadow of the flagpole. And I tutor for the ACT. I don't give a shit about it either, right? But she put all this pressure on it to take this class because she feels also it validates her. So now one of the things we deal with as leadership is external dependency, right? So with those external dependencies, what we have to think about as leaders is what does it mean to be a follower? And why do people follow? Right, you have people that follow because of their affection for the leader, because of their desire towards the outcome, right? Or because they have some part of the process that they may be responsible for. So now they're following along, right? So now we have to, if we can define what the follower looks like, identify what their reasons are and their whys, now we also know that how we're leading is effective or not. Because if we don't know what the fuck they need, how can I know what I'm giving them really matters? You know, for example, my mentoring program, I actually scratched my curriculum. Because these kids are dealing with some shit that, like everyday life. I had a young man, I came in, he didn't remember the Jamal Learning Center? So he kicked a hole in the window of the door, right? And I'm like, man, what the fuck wrong with you? You know, I mean, he's in third grade, but I mean, I got to meet him where he is, right? I'm not gonna scold him for cussing if I notice how he articulates how he feels, and I can't shut that down, right? Mm-hmm. He said he called my mama a bitch, so I threw a rock at him. And once I sat down and realized why he was so upset, his mom just put him and him alone. So now the only one that can call his mom a bitch is him, right? He's mad at his mom. But yo, you don't call my mom a bitch. So now we have to get into the root cause of those that are following us to make sure that our leading is effective and impactful and influential, right? Because there's also a misnomer, there's good leadership versus bad leadership. That's all a matter of perspective, and relative to whoever's perspective is observing that leader, what they're doing. But it's about the influence and the impact that it may make. The influence is on how it may drive you to make different decisions based on something you heard or something you learned. The impact of the decision that I made directly impacts you and your next move, right? So those are things that we want to make sure that we're always taking into consideration, especially dealing with our women. And we still bring things back full circle to where we were, so I don't want to get too far away from that, because that was a very powerful and important conversation we have to continue to have as black men and how we lead in our homes.
Hey, now listen. Y'all been enjoying this just like the men have, because the men have been really enjoying it, which is why we did it. I'm so excited because we're creating a brotherhood. They're doing these road mappings. We're getting all the feels, all the open discussion going on, all the open dialogue, and guess what? We building new bonds with the men, because the women, we've been doing it, but you know the men should have their safe space as well. Now, whatever gems you got, do me a favor and type in the comments what your favorite gem was that you have learned so far, all right? And we're gonna take a quick break and come back right after this.
Hi, my name is Kendris Hughes, makeup artist and creator of Cosmetics by Kendris. You can find me on all social media platforms at Cos by Kendris.
What's up, man? It's your boy Grease, and I need y'all to do me a big favor, man. Every weekend, man, I need y'all to tap in with the Ace Network and go right to Indie's Red Lit List, man. That's right, man. Y'all need to tap in with Indie Red with that Lit List, man. Top 10 countdown, all new music videos all the time, and who knows, man, your boy was on there, you could be next. Again, man, that's that Lit List, man, and shout out to the Ace Network. I see you.
Hi, I'm Anita.
And I'm Nettie Kelly with Nettie Kelly Makeup Lounge and Upscale Boutique. You can find us on the Moving in Grace Show.
Woo! Yes.
Hey, so listen, I hope you guys have enjoyed Cognac Conversations with the men today, because they've been getting it in. They done built some bonds, some brotherhood, y'all. I came back, they was talking stuff to your girl and everything. Like, I ain't the reason they all came together. But you know what, it's cool, because that just means that they bonded, they created some brotherhoods, they created some relationships, and we gonna keep growing this. They got their foundation for their roadmap, and guess what? We got a mid-year event coming up in the near future. But as always, I hope you guys did what I asked. Found a new gentleman for you to meet, be friends, get to know each other a little bit, because you know we all need somebody. So I hope that you have done that and enjoyed. Now, if there is anything that you have seen or know or want to know, please just let us know. If it's anything that you feel that we need to add to the event, let us know. We will make sure that we do that. Now, shout out to a few sponsors for today for our raffle prizes. Chillax Tap & Co. Also, shout out to Pretty Pens for our Cognac and Conversation pens. Shout out to Queen and Gossip Restaurant and Bar, because y'all know we have to be in the spot and the location, and the food was amazing as always. Also, shout out to TC Graphics, TC the Executive and Extravagant Events, Origin of Greatness, and TBT Cigars for always sponsoring the show and being a part of the Tierra Speaks family. Now, last but not least, shout out to all of you for being here. We would not be in season 4 without you, and we appreciate you and we love you. Don't forget to like, follow, share, subscribe to Tierra Speaks on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, iHeart, TGFX on Roku, and subscribe to our YouTube. Also, subscribe to our website at www.tierraarmor.com to keep up with everything new that we have coming for you. Now, as always, it's the weekend. And don't forget to dare to be different, live to inspire, and be authentic who you are daily. Have a good weekend.
Promise it's worth it. Listen with Tierra Speaks.